Hello, folks. Welcome back to Fearox Frank Reviews. Fearox Frank here, and of course, as you can plainly see, I'm actually heavily annoyed and kind of pissed. Mainly due to the fact that Evil Joe asked me to review a movie. A movie I did not want to review, and also the fact that it's a Godzilla film, and I got several more weeks until Godzilla Day comes out, aka my birthday. Not only is this a Godzilla film, it's actually one of the worst Godzilla films actually made. How do I put it this way? Right now we have Japan has a new Godzilla series going on right now. Right now we have Godzilla -1 coming out on Godzilla Day, Godzilla's birthday. So it would have made more sense to have that movie appear next year. But hey, next year we're getting the Godzilla X Kong film. So okay, there's that. And supposedly Godzilla -1 is going to start a brand new film series. So that's supposed to be on par with with Legendary's Godzilla film series. So we'll see when that happens. I mean, that movie's supposed to come out in the United States in December anyway, so we'll see. I mean, hell, I'm definitely gonna go see it because I'm an old school Godzilla fan. The fact that Godzilla and I have the exact same birthday, of course we're gonna go see it. Why the hell not? However, there is one thing that's been bothering me. The Godzilla film that Joe requested me to do, like I said, is one of the worst films. Not only is it one of the worst films, but let me put it this way: the Godzilla films that are going on right now, in Japan they're called the Reiwa series or something, but that's kind of weird calling it that because there's several films and anime and other stuff that's going on that's like connected to it, and this new film is supposed to be a new era of films, and the Reiwa series supposedly consists of Shin Godzilla, the Godzilla anime trilogy, and Godzilla the anime series that was on Netflix, which is weird. And this new Godzilla film that's coming out right now is actually the Godzilla in that one is supposed to be based off on Godzilla from Godzilla the Ride, and the guy who made the ride is actually the one who made the movie. I love the fans. Yeah, the fans could definitely make a damn good Godzilla film. Point in case, have you seen Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019? That's definitely a fan made movie. So fuck what the critics say about that. Sorry, something dropped. But look, what about the three? Anyway, we also have the MonsterVerse series, also known as the Legendary series, which is still going on to this day. All right, but but back in the day, there was the Showa series, has a bit of a complicated history of when it started. But anyway, it consisted from the films from the 50s all the way through the 70s. The Heisei era, which consisted from the 80s through the 90s, mid 90s. But the Millennium series consisted from late 90s all the way up to the mid 2000s or early 2000s, depending, because there's very few films on it. But the Millennium series has a bit of a problem, mainly because of the fact that each one of the films was supposed to be a direct sequel to the first Godzilla movie at some point. But Godzilla Millennium, on one hand, nobody knew that film was a standalone movie or supposedly a film that was connected to one of the other films. Like they're saying it was connected to the Showa era, but if you live here in the United States, it's actually connected to Godzilla 1985 as its direct sequel. So Godzilla 1985's direct sequel is Godzilla 2000, but it's also the start of the Heisei film series. But Return of Godzilla, the original version of that, is the actual film that started the Heisei era of films. So, like I said, it's very fucking confusing. But here's a bit of a fun fact: each one of the films series actually has a black sheep. Showa, Heisei, and Millennium all have black sheep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the Showa era, it's Godzilla's Revenge, which I have yet to cover. Which at this point, it's bad, but there's something in that I found out recently that actually has one good merit to it, though, but I'll get to that some other point if I ever get around to reviewing the movie. Now, last year, I did talk about the black sheep in the Heisei franchise, which of course was Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Yes, it was considered the black sheep of that franchise, but there were some good things to it. Like, for example, Space Godzilla was awesome. Mogera got upgraded, and the fight scenes were actually pretty good. The storyline around it, though, was beyond stupid, so it was considered the black sheep of that film series. But was it worse than Godzilla's Revenge, aka All Monsters Attack? No, it was actually a huge improvement. But that's not saying much. As for the Millennium film series, some fans actually believe that the final film, Final Wars, was the black sheep. No, it isn't. There's only one true film that is the black sheep of it, and I've delayed this long enough. Ladies and gentlemen, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Oh, God almighty. Oh, you know what? I saw images for this film online after Godzilla 2000 was released, because in Japan, this film got released around the same time. So naturally, as a Godzilla fan, I was going to high school. I was in eighth grade, going to ninth grade, aka high school. So I was just finishing up junior high, going straight to high school. So naturally, I was excited. But the film didn't come out until like sophomore year. So okay, that sucked. But I was okay with it because I was going to see the movie regardless, even though it came on DVD. But first, it came on the Sci-Fi Channel first, alongside with Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monster All-Out Attack, or GMK for short, which is another film I have to get to someday. God help me if I do get to that film. That movie is beyond crazy. Fans love it though, but I have some problems with it. Namely, due to the fact that Godzilla's not really in the movie. We have Ghost Godzilla, but that's a whole different problem right there. What's the problem with this one? It sucks. There's only one thing that's good in the movie. The big guy himself. That's it. This is the only good thing that's in this movie. The human characters suck. The storyline is beyond batshit bonkersly stupid. Something you see in the Saturday morning cartoon that would never have worked even if it was a Saturday morning cartoon. Or maybe it was actually supposed to be recycled from an old cartoon that never saw the light of day. As for Megaguirus, well, here's something that's interesting. I'm sure most of you who are monster movie fans actually remember the movie Rodan. All right, the giant pterodactyl movie that obviously fought Godzilla later on. But here's a bit of a fun fact. Remember the insects in the first half of the movie that started to attack the small town? Yeah, they were called the Megaguirus or something. I don't even know what the fuck they were called. The Meganulons or something. Meganulons, whatever. They had some ridiculous name. But anyway, they make a comeback in this movie, and they were actually the first stage to this. They were later involved into something called Meganula, which are giant dragonflies. And then one specific specimen is chosen and turns into Megaguirus, which is the queen bee of the swarm. But that's not what actually happened. Megaguirus, in this case, this is a mutated form. I'll get to that, and I'll explain that soon. So they basically took something from the Showa era, which people forgot about. Well, actually, it was part of a better film, and just threw it into a Godzilla film. Okay, that's quite interesting. So I've stalled on this long enough. Let's get with the film. So the movie basically just starts with recapping Japan's history with Godzilla. We see Godzilla attack Tokyo in 1954. And you expect to see stock footage of this Godzilla. Yeah, the original OG 1954 one. Yeah. See this guy trashing Tokyo. You know what? You never get tired of that. Do we see that? Nope. We see the Millennium Godzilla. Fucking Millennium Godzilla. They replaced him. They replaced the 50s one with the Millennium one. They replaced this with this. All right? This is not exactly better. All right? They were trying to make a whole new history saying that the Godzilla that's in the movie is the same one that attacked Japan in 1954, which is all kinds of ridiculous and all kinds of wrong, in my opinion. Now, granted, Final Wars did the exact same thing, but it was forgivable in that movie because they had to make Godzilla a bit more lenient in that film of why he hates mankind. Not to mention the Final Wars Godzilla actually looks way better by comparison. So, Godzilla basically attacks Tokyo just like in the movie, but they don't have the oxygen destroyer. And during Tokyo's reconstruction, they actually moved the capital from Tokyo to Osaka, which now that I said that out loud is really fucking weird why they did that. I mean, that's kind of like if you move. It's kind of like if Godzilla attacked Washington, but rather than rebuild DC, but rather after rebuilding DC, rather than rebuilding the Capitol building and the White House in DC, they moved it over to New York City. Does that sound? I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, also, have you been to New York City? There's no fucking way that those two buildings can fit, like at all. It's like completely out of place. Like what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh yeah. By the way, yes, I'm growing my goatee out a little bit though, because like I said, I'm trying to for my costume this year, I'm trying to become Jesse Stone. I'm trying to go for the Jesse Stone look that Tom Selleck actually had in the Jesse Stone films. So I'm trying to dress up as that. I mean, I got some decent clothing for it, and I'm just waiting for like a small prop gun to come into the mail, like one of those Nerf dart gun things. Yeah, I ordered one recently, so I'm gonna wait for it to come in. It's not the specific one he's using because he's using a Colt. I ordered a Sig one, but either way, it looks pretty decent. So I figured, what the hell, it should work. Huh. So after that, Godzilla. So 12 years later, Godzilla attacks the first power plant in Japan, and after that, Japan just gives up nuclear power, saying he's attracted to the radiation. And they use solar, wind, hydro. They use almost any forms of other energy to fill in the nuclear void, which is fucking stupid by comparison because if you've seen what Tokyo looked like, especially during the movie, there's definitely some type of nuclear power there because this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Or maybe it's some higher form of electricity. I don't know. Plot hole. In 1996, they developed a new they developed a new type of energy called plasma energy, which is supposed to replace nuclear power. It's supposed to be cleaner and safer. Plasma energy. Oh, plasma. You mean the type of thing they use on Star Trek? Okay, that's interesting. Oh, Godzilla shows up in Osaka and attacks the fucking plant. And we get a military sequence of this looks like something you would see in Call of Duty or something, which is ridiculous. The soldiers actually having like anti-tank rocket mounts, just shooting at Godzilla, from the ground level. Okay, if this was a level in Call of Duty, this would look cool. But looking at it from a film perspective, I gotta ask. Okay, gentlemen, would you like cremation or would you like an open coffin funeral? All right, I just need to ask that. Because you're all gonna fucking die for being so fucking stupid. It's Godzilla, for God's sake. Alright? You're using rockets against Godzilla on ground level. The stupidity just speaks for itself. Right? As a kid, I'm sure if you watch this movie as a kid, it looks cool. As a teenager, I thought, oh man, this looks sick. These guys are cool. Oh, these guys are idiots, but this scene is so sick. As an adult, I'm like this. Watching this, I mean, I literally just got done watching this movie about 2 hours ago, and this is my expression when I'm watching it. You guys are fucking stupid. Seriously. Yeah. And we get the title sequence. Yeah, it's like, okay, we're like 15 minutes into the video already. And you want to know the actual title of the name of the movie is? It's not Godzilla versus Megaguirus. No, it's Godzilla X Megaguirus G Annihilation Strategy. just rolls off your tongue. Anyway, we're supposed to be following this female character called Kariko, but Tujimori, and I really don't like this character. I hate her. She is the most unlikable character in the whole film. Yes, she's cute. Yes, the actress who plays her has done other films. She's a great actress and all, but still, Tujimori's character is unlikable because of this one problem. Now, one of the biggest things Godzilla X about Godzilla versus Space Godzilla that was sort of a problem was the character of Yuki, who actually had a massive grudge against Godzilla, and he was trying to kill Godzilla throughout the whole film, and he just failed on multiple occasions, even to the point where he was getting the Mogera trying to use it by just, you know what? That was so stupid altogether. But there's a merit. There was some good Yuki tried to do. All right, he does realize that Space Godzilla was more of a bigger threat, so he had to swallow his pride and actually had to work alongside with Godzilla, amongst all things, to get rid of Space Godzilla. And in the end, he just realized Godzilla's just a force of nature and there's nothing much they could do with him. So just get out of his way and don't piss him off. Yeah, just do that and you'll be fine. Now, going a little bit further, I should also mention Mark Russell's the character of Mark Russell in Godzilla King of the Monsters as well, but I will get to that soon. Tujimori's character is just, she hates Godzilla and she's obsessed with trying to kill him. Worst character development ever. I should also mention there's another female character in this movie who's the lead scientist. She's actually played by the same actress who was the reporter, who was the photographer in Godzilla vs. Mothra, the 1964 film. Yeah, they brought her back. And we're supposed to be following this young inventor guy called Mr. Kudo. And he might want to change that name because Kudo is also the name of the Japanese MMA system in Japan, which consists of boxing, Kyokushin karate, Muay Thai, judo, and jiu-jitsu. It's a hardcore MMA system, and it's called Kudo, even though it was called Daidoko Juko Karate at one point, but nowadays it's called Kudo for short. And his name happens to be Kudo. I'm calling you Kenny from this point, dick. Their plan is they want to get rid of Godzilla, and they actually have a new defense agency called G-Grasper, which is sort of like G-Force. So obviously this movie was taking merits from the Heisei era with G-Force, but the only problem was G-Force was more well organized and it was funded by the UN. Grasper is funded by the government, and they suck. The only thing they have that's of any use is a flying machine called the Griffin, which actually fights Godzilla and can actually dodge his heat ray. That's it. Other than that, it's stupid. So they wanted to anyway. The lead scientist says they were trying to develop a miniaturized black hole. Hey, miniaturized black hole. Miniaturized black hole. Is anybody home? That is the stupidest thing you could ever think of. My God. That is the most. Oh my God. A black hole is a much more destructive weapon than an atom bomb. Are they fucking serious? My God. Oh. Yes, by the way, that's kind of a black. That's like a dark gray Jason mask, by the way. Oh. And those screws on posters I made myself. Along with that Acrocanthosaurus poster I made. And these other two posters here, and that one poster over there, too. These two are just gaming posters. So yeah, they make a miniaturized black hole weapon they're going to use and shoot it off into space and have it shoot down on Godzilla. That's the plan. But before that, they test fire it in the middle of the woods on a building, and there's actually a wormhole in space-time because of that. And guess what? And later on that night, guess what goes through? One of the Megaguirus goes through and leaves an egg behind. And we have a kid in the movie that's based on the movie's Kenny. And Actually, you know what? I would call him a Kenny, but he's not really a Kenny. He's just in the movie. He takes the egg. He saw the demonstration. He makes a promise not to tell anybody about the damn thing. But you know what he does? He takes the egg and he puts it into Tokyo and he drops it down the sewer. And later on, later on, the entire Shinjuku district, that famous Times Square section of Tokyo, is flooded. 10 stories of flooded water that happens. And several people get killed from flooding and Meganeulons from actually going around killing people. Unreported, though. And then a bunch of Meganeulons show up. I know you're just saying, the kid is the monster in the movie. No, he isn't. You know what, Joe? You were right putting G Grasper on your A list. These guys are so fucking stupid. Using a miniaturized black hole. Okay, first off, a black hole is a two-way thing. All right, it goes into a black hole. All right, but whatever's in it goes out into a white hole, which is an explosion. And where does it wind up? Yeah, it's a wormhole in between. All right, so okay, we have a black hole, we have a white hole. What's in between them? A wormhole. All right, just they basically broke the space-time continuum and the fabric of time trying to kill off Godzilla. But what they did was make things worse. My brain was physically hurting by watching that part. I mean, my God, these people are so fucking stupid. Also, here's another fun fact, too. If they did shoot that thing off, if this was a real life, and they did shoot that thing off into space, what the hell do you think was going to happen? Everybody would shoot it down! America, Russia, China, Korea. And everybody would shoot the damn thing down because, hello, that thing's a black hole. We're going to shoot that thing down. Oh, what, you got a problem with Godzilla? Here's what you people are going to do. Live with him, you idiots! Fucking morons! God. I am trying here, folks. This movie really did piss me off. I am a Godzilla fan, and yet this is the one Godzilla film that has a shitload of problems with it. I really don't like this one. Like I said, the only reason why I tolerated it was because of Godzilla. That was it. Oh, and Kariko, my God, she just gets worse and worse. I mean, she does actually get close to Godzilla at one point and she actually climbs on the Godzilla's back, like somewhere around here-ish. So we finally get a scale of how big a human is compared to how big Godzilla is compared to a human. She puts a transmitter on him so they keep an eye on him. And meanwhile, the Shinjuku district is full of water, and now the self-defense forces got to deal with that. It's because they found a bunch of eggs in the middle of the town center. That's not good. That's not good at all. No, it's not good. Not good at all. No. So they get permission from the government to use Dimension Tide on Godzilla. They lure Godzilla to an island, but before they get a chance to use Dimension Tide, a bunch of Meganeulons actually come out of their cocoons and fly straight towards Godzilla. So by the time Godzilla just walks onto the island, millions of Meganeula come in, and he's just like, oh, what the hell? I'm going to shoot fire at you. And then they swarm around him and try to drain him of his energy. Yeah. You know what? It's by far the most entertaining. It's like one of the most entertaining parts of the movie. Seeing Godzilla deal with pest control. I mean, seriously, he's just wobbling around. All right, and this is in the middle of the daylight too. All right, we're seeing like the actual guy in the Godzilla suit running around trying to get bugs off. CG, practical effects, it's all mixed together. Also, here's another fun fact: this movie's on YouTube and it's free for now. So I don't know if you're gonna watch this movie, if you're gonna watch this review a year from now. I highly doubt the film will be on YouTube in a year. But keep this in mind: what they're showing on YouTube is the DVD version. I have the Blu-ray version, which the cinematography on the Blu-ray version is a little bit more darker and it actually feels more cinematic. While the one on the DVD actually feels more like it was. While the cinematography is a bit more brighter, and it looks like it was made for television. It's kind of a problem, though, but honestly, if you're going to watch this movie for better cinematography, I go with the Blu-ray version. So, yeah, they try to fire Dimension Tide. They do fire it eventually, and Godzilla happens to... Yeah, he gets hit by it, though, but they missed. Yeah, they missed. And the defense minister guy, I keep forgetting his name. I'm going to call him Mr. S, Mr. Shithead. Yeah. He goes, "What are you waiting for? Fire again!" Okay, I know it's like that's in the English dub version, but to be fair, I had the original Japanese subtitles on, so basically it showed what they actually said in the original Japanese version, and it was the exact same line. And the lead scientist tells them that they can't actually fire it again because it takes an hour for the damn thing to cool off. And the black hole weapon's called Dimension Tide. Ugh. Anyway, Godzilla actually survives. He watches the Megaguirus fly away, and he starts to go after him. But there is a shot in the movie where he actually turns around and looks at the Griffin, and he turns back as if he's saying, just walks away. That's probably the look he was giving them. I mean, seriously, it's a weird look. I mean, a buddy of mine years ago saw that sequence, and he is not a Godzilla fan, but when he saw that sequence, he's like, "Whoa, is he looking at us? Is he like a whoa?" I mean, seriously, it's weird. So yeah, he swims away. Mr. X actually gets a call from the government saying that from one of his higher government guys saying that Godzilla's obviously going to head to Tokyo and go straight for the science center. The Meganula go back to the Shibuya and dive into the water and find a giant body down there of a giant bug, obviously the Megaguirus body, but it's its original form, and they give it Godzilla energy. Ken and Tujimori get into an argument where I really hate this woman. I seriously wanted to see this woman die. Spoiler, she doesn't die. She does deserve a bat to the head, though. And okay, you know what? Before I go any further, I just gotta say something about Mark Russell's character in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Okay, yeah, he had the same issue problem, but with him, there's a reason. All right, each one of these characters always has a problem with Godzilla, and they want him dead. I mean, in Yuki's case, his best friend was killed by Godzilla deliberately, but then again, his best friend was Goro, that Goro guy who actually shot the missile inside Godzilla's mouth, and he makes a stupid cigarette joke. So yeah, he deserved to die. You say that, tell Godzilla a bad joke, what's he gonna do? Destroy the building you're in. Idiot. Tujimori's case, her commander died trying to save her, and she wants to get revenge on Godzilla. Stupid, very stupid. In Mark Russell's case, he lost his son during the 2014 Mutos attack on San Francisco. But there's some merits with Mark Russell's character. He's actually an animal expert, and his expertise on animals actually helps study Godzilla a lot more better, actually understand his behavior, and in the end, he finds out where Godzilla was going to go, where to locate Godzilla, and also where to find the so-called Orca machine that was driving all the monsters crazy. All right, so he actually has more screen time, and plus he has more interactions with Godzilla, unlike these other characters. All right, but the biggest difference is like I said earlier, Yuki was redeemable. Mark's character is extremely redeemable because of the fact he's actually a likable character. Yeah. All right, and in the end, he becomes the leader of Monarch, and he says they have to work alongside with Godzilla from time to time. Which did not happen in Godzilla King of the Godzilla vs. Kong because of the Apex Corporation. Anyway, Ken goes all the way back down to Shibuya to replace a drone, and then he suggests that maybe there's something big under the water. And what is it? Megaguirus shows up and he flies around and just starts destroying shit at supersonic speeds. Kudo survives. And goes to Kudo goes to the hospital, and I should mention I was watching this movie with my buddy with Troy from Troy's World about a couple of decades ago, and he was watching it with me. And he's like, "Well, that's great, but where the hell's Godzilla?" Somebody immediately runs into the room and yells, "Major, we found Godzilla!" And he's like, "Just look at him." It was perfect timing when it happened, though. Too bad this movie sucks. Ugh, fuck. So yeah, Godzilla makes it to Tokyo Bay. He makes landfall, and of course Fujimori's been asking why is Godzilla coming here. Well, her sadistic attitude saying she wants to get rid of Godzilla personally. Anyway, Godzilla just walks. He stops. Oh, Megaguirus comes down, and they actually have the fight. Yep, the big fight of the movie. It's Godzilla versus Megaguirus, and it's surprisingly actually it's a decent fight. Now, Megaguirus is actually displayed as two things: a guy in the suit, aka a guy in the torso section of the suit, and the rest of it is mostly a big ass puppet. By the way, there is something I got to mention. There was advertisements for Megaguirus where Megaguirus actually had two legs and walked around normally like a bipedal animal, like a theropod, which is a little weird. So I think at some point they thought about maybe because Megaguirus is infused with Godzilla's DNA. So like Orga in the previous movie, he has some she or they, she, it, whatever, actually has Godzilla's DNA inside of it. Hence why it actually has more of a dinosaurish look to it, though, because it's amalgamated from Godzilla. So I can understand maybe that it grew its legs at one point, that maybe at some point during the fight, it would actually, after it loses to Godzilla at one point, it would grow its legs out and it would continue to fight as a bipedal animal, fighting Godzilla hand to hand. Weird. Also, another fun fact, its wings, it can vibrate its wings at a certain frequency, which gives it super speed. Also, the Dimension Tide weapon, they were going to use it again, but as they were aiming it towards Godzilla and Megaguirus, that's when it flapped its wings and its supersonic frequency actually screwed everything up. So, yeah, the entire third act is actually them trying to fix Dimension Tide, trying to get it back online, and Godzilla fighting Megaguirus. The fight is, like I said, surprisingly not that bad. It's a pretty decent fight. I mean, seriously, Godzilla puts up a good fight. Megaguirus, I mean, he shoots his heat right. He's trying to fight Megaguirus, but it's too fast for him. So it's like, huh? 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 And keeps smacking him, shoots his heat right, and flies around, dodging it. But that's only when he goes like supersonic speed, which is nuts. At some point, it uses its the stinger on the tip of its tail to actually pierce through Godzilla's abdomen and drain him from using his heat ray. He does it twice, by the way. However, something happens. The second time around, Godzilla actually pulls the stinger out from his stomach and actually impales him into the ground. And what's Godzilla do? All right, my hand is Megaguirus. Here's what Godzilla does. Distance-wise, flop. I'm not kidding. He legit. He does a skyscraper style jump. Like he goes, flop. And you see Megaguirus' eyes go, huh? I swear to God, I thought they were going to pop out. Also, my friends all saw that sequence. They were just like, what? Okay, like I said, this movie sucks, but the fight scene between Godzilla and Megaguirus is really good. Especially that part right there. Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. It's good. It's really good. Oh, well, eventually the fight has to stop. But Megaguirus actually does continue to fight Godzilla, and it garners enough energy from its body, and The radiation it stole from Godzilla, it goes into a fireball, fires out of Megaguirus, and slams right to Godzilla. And what does he do? Ugh. Yep. And he starts smacking him around again when he's on the ground. Ugh, 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 ugh. And as he's about to come in, he's about to use the stinger one more time. And here's the sequence, right? Stinger. Right? It goes right in, and it looks like it hit his head. But the camera turns around, and we see the stinger landed in Godzilla's jaws. Yeah, he actually grabbed the stinger with his mouth, with his jaws. He bites down and he rips it right off, destroying the stinger. Now that he can't absorb Godzilla's energy anymore, Godzilla just powers up his heat ray and shoots a powerful heat ray at Megaguirus, killing it instantly. Yep. And it goes into a ball of fire. Godzilla roars in victory, and he just continues destroying Tokyo. Now, what I said before with Megaguirus actually using having the bipedal costume thing, I think that was originally like maybe it was supposed to be like Megaguirus was to come back out of the fire as a bipedal animal and start to fight Godzilla even more. But apparently that may have been a little too ridiculous, so they maybe just said forget it and just let that Godzilla kills Megaguirus with the heat ray. Enough said. Move on. The Griffin was disabled during the fight, but now it's actually fixed. But they can't use their weapons, so they fly after Godzilla. Mr. S and the main scientists actually go to take a helicopter to follow Godzilla as well. Pluto has been trying to fix the damn Dimension Tide link up, which he finally does. But now they got a bigger problem. It's descending from orbit. So now, yeah. And what happens? Godzilla goes straight for the Tokyo Science Center, and he destroys it because they were building plasma energy in there, like a huge energy conduit was there. That's what drew him there. Mr. S knew about it, and of course, Kuriko gets pissed at him, but he actually says something that I have to fully agree with. Is that I organized the G Grosper unit. I think it was such a mess they made. Kuriko punches him. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck's you punching for? He's right. You guys did screw up a lot. I mean, wow. You brought Megaguirus into this timeline, you morons. Ugh. It really says that they were trying to build up like Mr. S as the main human villain, but when you actually have to agree with what he said, he's right. They fucked up a lot. Fuck these guys. But yeah. Anyway, Kudo actually winds up calling Tujimori and to get the grip. They actually get to use Dimension Tide as it's falling, but the targeting system's screwed up. So she gets an idea to get into the Griffin, to fly the Griffin up to the atmosphere, and so to have Dimension Tide target the Griffin, and she flies it directly over Godzilla, and she crashes it into Godzilla as the weapon fires before it gets destroyed. And so what does Godzilla do? He fires his heat ray at it, though, but he gets sucked up by it. Yep, he gets sucked up by it. They won. It's like, yeah, we did it! We won! No more Godzilla! Ending of the movie happens. Seismic activity. Did Godzilla escape the damn thing? Oh, I don't know. Let's zip right through the post-credit sequence. Oh, hey, it's the Kitty Kid from earlier who actually released Megaguirus into the city. I'm not blaming him for that. Well, what happens? What happens? There's an earthquake. What was that? Oh my god! Freeze frame. Godzilla's roar. Oh my god! He escaped the black hole. No shit. By the way, I should mention the original ending was supposed to have Godzilla's skeleton on the moon at one point, but they ditched that idea. But you want to know? But that's the movie itself. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. I wouldn't recommend. Unless you're a Godzilla fan, I would not recommend this movie because it's pretty damn stupid. Also, this is the Blu-ray edition, so it's double billed with another Godzilla film. And what film was that? The best film in the entire Heisei series. I'd rather be watching this movie than this one. Yeah, this movie is fucking awesome. This is one of the greatest Godzilla films, one of the greatest monster films ever made, and this is garbage. The only thing that's good about this movie is Godzilla himself and the fight he has with this thing. That's it. Everything else sucks. I should end the video right here, but there's something else I gotta mention. You guys remember Reptar from the Rugrats? Because he looks a lot like Godzilla. Yeah, and Nickelodeon got sued several times because of that. But here's something I gotta mention. Back in my middle school days, I remember reading something in a kids magazine. I don't remember which one it was, and it could be the Mandela effect on me or anything, but here's what I remember. I remember that Reptar's popularity was so high at the time that Nickelodeon was going to make a standalone cartoon starring Reptar, and it was supposed to be based on, well, the Reptar films that were actually in the Rugrats show. So, okay, that's kind of interesting. So it would have been somewhat serious, but in somewhat comedy mixed together. So what? It would be like the Danny Phantom show? No, who the hell knows? But anyway, the show's pilot was supposed to premiere in late 1998. And guess what happened in 1998? In autumn of 1998. I think supposedly like the pilot was supposed to be in November or December or something. But guess what released it on the Fox Kids network in September that year? Godzilla the series, based off on the American Godzilla film, which was okay. The movie was, like I said before, it's not a Godzilla movie. It's only Godzilla in name only. But the Godzilla series was highly successful. Like many fans actually love that show. In fact, they actually want that show to come back and finish itself. Yeah, who the hell would have figured that? So, but anyway, here's something that's a little bit weird. They wanted to, as far as the Reptar show goes, they were supposed to make a small movie, and the movie was supposed to be like what the Rugrats were watching that one episode. And supposedly we're supposed to make a black hole or like some type of dimensional thing and shoot Reptar back into the past because he came forward in time and he evolved into Reptar. Originally he was a T-Rex and evolved into Reptar. And so they made a machine to actually send him back to the past to make him go back home. This whole thing with Dimension Tide and the wormhole thing made me realize something. What if Godzilla came back, only he was bigger and more powerful, and they sent him back to the past, and he evolved over millions of years? Kind of like what happened with Godzilla Planet of Monsters. Except that movie was way too insane to comprehend that little notion. I mean, he goes from 50 meters tall to about the size of the Chrysler building in that film series. So who the hell knows what happens with this one? Also, the wormholes, if they were shot all over the world, they could have opened up pockets in time, bringing in more monsters. So this movie was also a missed opportunity to actually have sequels that would have had more monsters coming out from the wormholes. And rather than trying to get rid of Godzilla, the Defense Department had to work alongside with him to get rid of the monsters. Wait a minute. I just realized something. I actually am working on some. I mean, one of the things I'm working on right now, I'm making storylines to like certain comic books or certain books. And I already did one with a Godzilla like character to begin with. And I'm working on another one with another Godzilla like character. But there's also a third one I want to work on with a different Godzilla character. So I would have three Godzilla ish characters. You know what? I think I'm going to take the storyline from this one and actually fix it and make it have a Godzilla character, maybe like Atomic Rex or something. And yeah, fix it up from there. Fucking Christ. Oh, God, my head's fucking killing me. So, you know what? I'm taking a break for a while. So, tune in this Friday and I'll get along. So, I'll do next new video this Friday at. Wait a minute. This Friday's Friday the 13th. He's back. See you next time for Friday the 13th, part 7. Ferox, Frank, out.